Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another One-on-One Sports webisode. I'm your host, Billy O'Riordan, and I'm joined by my college football expert, Doug Williams, and senior NFL expert, Nick Kurtz. And today, we are going to settle an age-old debate once and for all. Which brand of football is more exciting, the NCAA or the NFL? We're going to break this down systematically and compare the two leagues from every possible painstaking angle. My first question for you, Nick, is this. Which is the better game day experience, the NFL on Sunday or college football?
Well, you got to go with the NFL. I mean, the pros have millions of dollars put into these stadiums. They've got bigger fan bases, worldwide fan bases, where you've got all of these stadiums that like the Cowboys' new stadium, for example.
Sure.
It's over 105,000 fans. You've got people coming in from other states to come see these Cowboys games. Sure, they're not doing too well this year, so that, it's not turning out that well. But you've got, multi-billion dollar owners of these teams just throwing money.
My opinion, though, is it's not about the money. I think if you ever watched a Penn State game, they have 110,000 fans there. It makes Happy Valley, the third biggest state in Pennsylvania on that day, or city in Pennsylvania on that day. So let's think about this. It's all about the school. It's everyone from Penn State is there, and people from around campus are there. It doesn't have to do with how much the stadium costs or how rich the owner is. I think that generally it's the constantly chanting fans with the whiteouts and the bands and the whole atmosphere on game day in college football, I think, to me, outdoes the pros.
The NFL also, teams like the Washington Redskins have bands, and teams like the New York Jets and the Eagles have big chants that they do after every touchdown, and the fans get the same amount of enjoyment out of sitting there and watching the football as they will in college. But the difference is you've got restaurants to go to in stadiums. You don't have to worry about stadium style seating. You actually have a season ticket if you have a season ticket holder where you have one seat in a stadium. You have these big markets on national television with Sunday night games and Monday night games, which you don't get on.
Well, I tell you what, I like that, but I got to say, the tailgating in college football, being a college student, I love it. But let's move on from the game day experience and move to, let's say you're on the couch. We're sports analysts. We watch a lot of sports. What's a better day of watching sports? Saturday filled with college football or Sunday in the NFL? Doug, what do you think?
I personally think Saturday is better because I wake up pretty late. So if I wake up at noon, this college football goes on all day, whereas the pros, you get 1 p.m., 4 p.m., blackouts, all of that, and then the one night game on Sunday nights. A Saturday, it seems to be on every channel. I swear there have been games on the Golf Channel on Saturdays. There really are games on every channel. NBC does Notre Dame. Fox carries games occasionally, especially during bowl season. But you have CBS, all ABC, all these channels do college football games. And it seems like you can just scroll through your cable on a Saturday and watch very good college football games that, by the way, are always usually exciting.
But that's the problem, Doug. That's the problem. You've got so many college games, you can't even keep track. You've got TV packages that have every NFL game on one station, NFL Red Zone. And if you don't have that, you can go to Fox and CBS and watch the good majority of the games that you want to see that day. Whereas in college football, you don't know what's going to happen to your rival because you have to go online and look up the score because it wasn't on TV or you didn't have the premium channel to figure it out. So I feel like the better day of watching sports is the NFL, also in addition because you actually have individual performances. The world of fantasy football has become one of the biggest online gaming habits known to man. Sure. And you've got Chris Johnson, for example, rushing for 2,000 yards last season and scoring fantasy points, for owners that were winning them championships left and right.
But in my opinion, being a fan is about the team you love. And I personally think that if you love a team in college football, you have a better chance of watching them on Saturday, no matter where you are, than you do on a Sunday. For example, if you're a New York Giants fan in North Carolina, you can't watch them every Sunday. So I think that I have a better shot of watching my favorite college football team on Saturday just because of all the channels that they're offered on.
You've got...
I love the argument, but I got to say I love the tradition of Monday Night Football, knowing when that game's on. It's a great time, prime time. But let's get into some specific games, because especially with college football and the NFL, games you're going to see on TV are the rivalries. You're going to see Cowboys-Giants. You're going to see Ohio State-Michigan. Which one of those styles of rivalries are better, college or NFL? Nick, what do you think?
Well, yes, you've got the intensity of an Ohio State-Michigan kind of a game. But the problem is they only play once a year. In the NFL, you've got division rivals. You've got Cowboys, Redskins. You know, one of the most heated rivalries in over 30 years. And guess what? They play twice during the season. They play once in Dallas and once in Washington. So you've got both sides of the fan perspective, and if one team doesn't win the first time out, that's what makes it so awesome, is that they can come back and split the series.
I have to say I'm going to use your pro as a con. I think that the fact that they use the one game per year it makes it on a grander scale. It's like, well, Michigan's playing Ohio State this weekend for the one time of this season. I think that's what makes it so exciting. And I think that there's also more rivalries. There's all these divisions in college football where each place, like Big Ten, the Big 12, the ACC, the SEC, all these these competitions are on a grand scale because they happen once a year.
But they get too broad. There's so many college rivalries. Now you've got one team with 10 different rivalries.
You know what? The thing with that is, though, if it's your team, you always know when that rivalry game is coming. Moving on from that, another topic that has been very controversial every single year, the playoff systems in the NFL and college football. Doug, tell me how the BCS beats out NFL's 12 playoff game system.
Well, I know the BCS gets hated on a lot of the time just because it's a very controversial system. But in my opinion, it goes on for a very long time. We start to see these games, I don't know when it starts, in December, November, but it goes on all the way through New Year's to Christmas, and it gets you really through the holidays because you always have something to watch. And a lot of these bowls are fantastic competition in football. You get to see, the Cotton Bowl every year, which is a great game. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be a BCS bowl game, but a lot of these games are really great because they're very even teams, and I like that a lot. But also, a big part of playoff football is overtime, and I think college football overtime ends in a much more exciting way, and it's a more fair way.
I got to stop you right there.
In college football,
you've got so many bowl games. You call it even teams. I call it they can't decide where to put the teams. It's a matter of you're arguing in the BCS who's number one. You're arguing over who's the best team that's going to play in the best game. But that shouldn't be the case. You should easily be able to tell, like this week, you should easily be able to tell that the Oregon Ducks are the best team in college football. However, they're number 2 to Auburn. So you're constantly battling back and forth. What they need is an 8-team playoff system, get the division winners of the best 6 divisions and 2 wild cards, and just make it a month of playoffs like they do in the NFL. It'll make it 1 week for a Super Bowl.
Tell you what, I love Capital One Bowl Week. Best time of the year, but the BCS is just an incredible headache. I love the NFL playoff system. That will conclude this webisode. Make sure to check out all of One-on-One Sports' other great sports content. You can watch our weekly television show on ESTV and YouTube, and check out our radio program on WSOE every Wednesday night from 10 to 12. For Doug Williams and Nick Kurtz, I'm Billy O'Riordan, and we want to know, whose side are you on?